Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over 6 players that I think you should be panicking just a little bit on. Their performances are not exactly what they should be at this point in time, so we're a little bit concerned at this point. But before we do get into these players, I want to encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button and like the video at the end if you did enjoy, of course. But let's get into it right here with player number 1, and I have to be totally transparent with you guys. And I have to own up to my mistakes. I'm not going to be one of these phony YouTubers that just only shows you the good things. I said last week, I believed in DIONTAE Johnson. I made that video of 5 bold players to start in week 11. DIONTAE Johnson was the only one that scored under 10 points. So I'm going to take my L on this one. DIONTAE Johnson, I don't know what's going on. Kenny Pickett does not look for this guy. And I don't think it's DIONTAE's fault at all. I'm watching the Steelers game playing against the Cincinnati Bengals this past Sunday. I'm watching DIONTAE Johnson after almost every route this dude runs, coming back to the huddle, holding his head, going, how are you missing me, Kenny Pickett? How are you missing me? I'm wide open running a go route and you don't even see me somehow because you're staring at the other side of the field at George Pickens. Also taking the L for that because I said, I think DIONTAE Johnson will do better than George Pickens the rest of the year. I don't think that anymore. After watching this game against the Bengals, it's clear as day that Kenny Pickett's first look is George Pickens or Pat Freiermuth. DIONTAE Johnson, apparently a super skilled receiver, is the third option on this offense, and I'm panicking on him. 6.2 fantasy points last week, 5 targets the past 2 weeks. This guy is insanely talented, clearly getting open. Kenny Pickett is a massive problem right now for him. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. You guys got to watch the game tape yourself because I'm losing my mind. I'm playing DIONTAE Johnson week 11. I'm losing my mind. I need this guy to get catches, and Kenny Pickett, George Pickens, get it, George. Like all the way on the other side of the field. Good for George Pickens owners, but I'm salty right now because I know this man's open. Kenny Pickett's not finding him, and it's pissing me off. But on another note, moving on to a guy that I was worried about before this week, and I mentioned to you guys that you should probably think about trading this guy. Miles Sanders had another bad week, 5.8 fantasy points against the Indianapolis Colts. And the week before against a very tough Washington defense. You might not think they're that tough, but they are a tough team to go up against. 5.4 in that game. He's got some tough matchups coming up too. Green Bay, Tennessee, New York Giants, Chicago, Dallas, New Orleans. The schedule looks ugly. If the Eagles are down at any point in this game, like they were against the Colts, it was like 13-3 this entire game. It's going to be a game like that. Miles Sanders is not going to be involved. He had 1 catch the past 4 weeks. Not good. Especially in PPR leagues. Like if you're in standard leagues, I totally understand. You're like, oh, I'm not too worried about Miles Sanders. I'm going to keep him. But if you're in a PPR league, I'm worrying about him. You can't be having 5 points 2 weeks in a row from your maybe running back 2, running back, hopefully not running back number 1. But if he's your running back number 1, we got bigger issues at hand. I'm worried about Miles Sanders at this point. Another guy I am a little bit worried about here dropped a fat deuce on Sunday here against the Baltimore Ravens. D'Onta Foreman, 2.4 fantasy points, 2.2 average yards per carry, 11 carries, 24 yards in this game. Oh, this was ugly. This is an ugly game, and I am not too happy about Foreman's performance. But I do have to say, this is a clear lesson right here. Any game that you think the Carolina Panthers will be down in, Foreman's not getting involved. Don't play them. I'm telling you right now, don't play him against the Denver Broncos. Don't play him against the Seattle Seahawks. You could maybe get away with playing him against the Steelers, maybe against the Lions, and maybe against the Buccaneers towards the end of the year because that's a divisional game. All right, that's the only reason against Tampa Bay. But the other teams, not the best run defenses in the world. Also, not the best offenses in general in the world. So I feel like they could be in these games. But like I said, if the Panthers are going to be trailing in these games, Chuba Hubbard's going to be out there way more. And I don't even feel confident about Chuba Hubbard, by the way, but this is about D'Onta Foreman. I'm a little bit panicked on this guy going into the next couple weeks, especially. All right, next up on this list that I'm a little bit panicked on, Courtland Sutton. And you're going to say, listen, all right, Courtland Sutton got me 13 fantasy points in my PPR league. I'll take that all day of the week. Yeah, the problem is that in this matchup against one of the worst, dreadful defenses in the entire league, Las Vegas Raiders, he only got 7 targets, 5 catches, 80 yards on 7 targets when there's no Jerry Jeudy. Your only competition is Greg Dulcich, and you're getting 13 fantasy points. That's the ceiling, it seems like, for Courtland Sutton. I know earlier on in the season, he broke that marker a couple times. He was dropping 19, 17, 16. I don't know what's going on with this guy, though. Like, if that's the maximum amount of points that I'm hoping for is 13 from a guy like Courtland Sutton, then we got a big problem. Next week against Carolina, another favorable matchup. I will still be starting him if I own him. But after that, Baltimore, Kansas City, Arizona, Rams, and then Kansas City again. Not great. If Jeudy returns, not great at all. I hate it. I hate it. This is one of those offenses, like I was talking about in my previous videos, where they get on the field and I'm just, oh, what am I watching? It's like a 3-and-out show. Every time they go on the field, 3-and-out, 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 3-and-out. If you don't have to start Courtland Sutton, I probably wouldn't after next week. That's all I'm saying. I'm panicking on Courtland Sutton. All right, at number 5 here, this is another guy where I'm just confused. I'm super disappointed in what I was expecting. Maybe I was just valuing him way too high all these weeks. Maybe I was just expecting, you know, since Jamar Chase is out of this offense, I thought Tyler Boyd would step up and be that number 2 guy behind T. Higgins, but he's not. He's really not. I just don't get it. 7 targets, though, in this game. 2 catches for 42 yards against an atrocious Pittsburgh passing defense. T. Higgins absolutely exposed him, absolutely did him dirty. Love T. Higgins, by the way. Have him on a couple teams. That's my man, T. Higgins. Absolutely amazing player. But Tyler Boyd, what are we, 6.2 fantasy points? I don't get it. I really don't get it. And it's just going to be worse when Chase comes back. It's not going to get better. Like, he's going to see less targets when Chase comes back, because then you got to feed Jamar Chase. You got to feed T. Higgins. You got to feed Joe Mixon. You got to feed Hayden Hurst. And then maybe you get some targets for Tyler Boyd. But other than that, I don't like it. I don't know what's going on. Tell me if you own Tyler Boyd, because I watched this game against the Steelers. They didn't look his way until what, the 4th quarter. It was he had 0 points till the 4th quarter. That's like major panic button. I'm hitting the panic button. I'm laying on. I'm sitting on it. I'm sitting on the panic button. Number 6, the New York Jets offense. What the hell was that? Against the Patriots here, we're dropping a deucer, dropping a fat deucer. Garrett Wilson's not getting involved in this offense at all. Michael Carter, James Robinson both get 1 point. And Zach Wilson cannot hit a guy when he's wide open. He was like 8 for 20. We said there was a video that was going around Twitter. I don't know. Maybe my editor can find it. It's a short little clip. I don't even know if we can put it in here. So actually don't put it in here. But there was a clip where the dude's waiting for a screen pass, right? He has no other options. He checks all his other, routes, sees that nothing's available, throws it down to the check down route, a mile over this dude's head. Nobody's even on him. Zach Wilson. And after the game, someone asked him if he thinks his offense could have played better, if he feels bad for not being able to produce points on the board. No, I don't feel bad. What? 3 points? I realize the Patriots defense is elite. This is the best defense in the league, if not, top 3 defense in the league. But we can't be content with 3 points. We just can't do it. So all in all, recapping the Jets just makes me question if you want Michael Carter, James Robinson, Garrett Wilson on your team, if they're going to drop a deucer like this. Hopefully it doesn't keep happening like that. Honorable mention on this list to end it off here, Dameon Pierce. God, I've been so high on Dameon Pierce. I've been talking up Dameon Pierce for the last couple weeks now. Trade for this guy, trade for this guy, trade for this guy. These were 4 tough matchups in a row. He had Tennessee, Philly, New York Giants, Washington Commanders. But this last game for me against the Commanders, 10 rushing attempts for 8 yards, 2 catches for 9 yards, 3.7 PPR fantasy points. That is the worst day he's going to have all year. I can guarantee you that. These next 2 games against Miami, against Cleveland, should bounce back. He should really have good games here. If he doesn't have good games, I'm laying on the panic button big time. But right now, I'm just putting my toenail on it. I'm near it. I'm near the panic. I'm not hitting it yet, but I'm near it. I'm ready to hit it. So take into consideration, you know, his next 2 matchups. Keep an eye out on it. Like I said, if he doesn't perform these next 2 weeks, we got a problem. And then he plays some kind of tough rushing defenses again. Dallas, Kansas City, Tennessee, Jacksonville to end of the year. I still think this is a guy you want on your team because he's this entire offense. But if you're going to have a game like you did today against the Washington Commanders, where the second drive of the game is a pick 6 and you're already down by 10 points to start the game, it's not looking good. It's really not looking good. This Texans offense it's a disaster without Dameon Pierce doing anything. You saw it today. They just didn't score any points. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed any of this advice or didn't enjoy this advice, let me know in the comment section below. Also, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will catch you in the next one. Peace out, guys.